I don't want to sound like every other Dallas Cowboy fan here, but the Cowboys have an amazing defense and they could just be one offensive piece away from it being their year. But seriously this time, I'm sure most of you are wondering how can the Cowboys have a struggling offense when they went 12-5 and ranked 11th in total offense, and that's with Dak missing 5 games. And honestly, that's still good considering their lack of offensive weapons. I know a lot of people want to start with Dak as being the main problem, or the run game, or the lack thereof at least. But actually the problem is the offense as a whole. It's the quarterback, it's the run game, and it's the lack of help through the air. But I want to start with what's the biggest problem in my eyes, and that's the passing game. A big reason why the Cowboys ranked number 1 in total offense last year was because they were second in the league in passing. We all knew losing Amari Cooper was going to cause those numbers to drop some, but to go from 2nd to 14th, I'm not sure if anyone was expecting that. The production from the supporting cast was also another significant reason why the passing attack took such a hit. Michael Gallup failed to put up more than 65 yards in a game this season. It remains to be seen if that is because he was still fully recovering from injury or if he fell off after receiving a contract extension. In 2021, Dalton Schultz has 78 catches for 808 yards and 8 touchdowns. Amari Cooper has 68 receptions for 865 yards and another 8 touchdowns. And leading the way was CeeDee Lamb with 79 catches, 1,102 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And then in 2022, Dalton Schultz dropped down to 57 receptions, 577 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Noah Brown had 43 catches, 555 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Michael Gallup had only 39 catches and 424 yards and 4 touchdowns. And CeeDee Lamb finished at the top again with 107 receptions, 1,359 yards, and 9 touchdowns. The gap between CeeDee Lamb and the next nearest receiver was a 782-yard difference. They had a receiver go over 100 yards 7 times this season, and of those 6 times it was CeeDee Lamb. Can you guess who the other person was? Yep, that's right, it was Tony Pollard. CeeDee Lamb has been the best playmaker for the Dallas Cowboys over the past 2 seasons, and that's clear because CeeDee Lamb led the team in receiving yards 13 out of the 17 games. Dallas also has a choice to make with their 5-year veteran Dalton Schultz. They franchise tagged him for the 2022 season. In doing so, gave him a fully guaranteed 1-year deal worth $10.9 million. Applying a second tag on him will cost the Cowboys even more money, jumping to $13 million. The Cowboys were hoping the 26-year-old tight end would be able to replicate his 2021 production and help lessen the blow of Amari Cooper's departure during the offseason. Unfortunately for Schultz and the Cowboys, he was never able to achieve that level of play in 2022, and the franchise tag seems like a doubtful option, and it would not allow them to use it on their running back Tony Pollard, so the team will either let Schultz walk or agree on a multi-year deal. Now, we've talked about the lack of production from the receivers, but we can't put all the blame on the receiver room though. The running game has lost its ability to be effective, and therefore the offensive balance has been thrown off significantly. This leads to a number of issues, but at its core, the Cowboys are no longer able to embody their stated and desired identity. The loss of balance has brought back an added emphasis on the passing game, but the Cowboys still ran the ball on first down at the 6th highest rate in 2021. They cranked it even higher to the 3rd highest rate in 2022. They want to run the ball on 1st and 2nd down and are 5th in the NFL when you combine the two for rushing attempts. All of those rushing attempts, and yet still Ezekiel Elliot is coming off the worst statistical season of his career, rushing for just 876 yards on 231 carries with the longest run of 27 yards, all career lows. He did prove valuable near the goal line though, punching in 12 touchdowns. Ezekiel Elliott also did not rush for 100 yards in any game this season, but in 11 out of the 15 games he did rush for over 50 yards. Ezekiel Elliott signed a 6-year deal back in 2019 worth up to $90 million in an extension. This deal has hamstrung the Dallas Cowboys salary cap ever since he signed it, so that'll be something to look out for. Meanwhile, Tony Pollard had 3 100-yard games this season and rushed for 1,000 yards as well, and became the clear-cut choice for RB1. Now, even with the lack of production from the receivers and the lack of production from one of your running backs, the Cowboys still finished 14th in passing and 9th in rushing, while also having 55 total touchdowns, which was good enough for 3rd in the league. And that's only behind the 2 teams who played in the Super Bowl, being the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. So obviously there's hope for this offense. Now, while Dak doesn't deserve to be blamed for everything, he does have to be held accountable for his part. He went 8-4 in the regular season. That marks his third best win percentage since entering the NFL, behind only his rookie season and the 2021 season. And on the surface, that's not too bad. Dak Prescott completed 261 out of 394 passes, good enough for a 66% completion rate percentage. For 2,860 yards, 23 touchdowns, and a league-leading, career-high 15 interceptions in the 2022 season. His stats this season come in just 12 games played. He missed weeks 2 through 6 with a fractured thumb on his throwing hand. The turnovers, however, make it a real case for his worst season yet. He threw 15 interceptions, a career high, over 2017's 13 interceptions. However, he played in 4 more games in 2017 than he did this year. He also threw multiple interceptions in 5 out of the 12 games he played, which is an astonishingly high number for a full season, let alone an abbreviated one. In those 12 regular season games, he threw for 300 plus yards just once. But in a defining game versus San Francisco, they revealed all of the issues that plagued the Cowboys, who were held to under 300 yards in total offense, while Prescott threw 2 key interceptions. This game was a microcosm of the inconsistency the Dallas offense has shown throughout much of the season, highlighted by Prescott's league worst 15 regular season interceptions, which could be attributed to both the quarterback and his receivers. Aside from some of the errant throws that Dak makes, he still ranks among the league's best quarterbacks. He threw for 23 touchdowns while leading the Cowboys to the 4th highest scoring offense at 27.5 points per game, and the league's 5th best third down conversion rate at 45.5%. The Cowboys had a very good offense in 2022, but it should have been better. Dak missed the first quarter of the season, and after catching fire at the midway point, he became an interception machine in the final weeks. The talent is there, but do you think the Cowboys have enough of offensive firepower to turn it around? Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to check out my most recent video about Joe Burrow as well.